Nona is on the other side of me in the Auckland studio as I fling papers around.
Flinging your papers about.
Let's turn to business news now. Amazon has launched a new service for New Zealand shoppers. What is it?
Yeah, it's a little confusing. I tried to get a little bit more information about it, but wasn't able to find out very much up until our time here. But meanwhile, the company has come up with this app. So you download the shopping app, and instead of kind of searching through an Amazon page and clicking on something that isn't available to New Zealand shoppers, you'll be able to get access to 45 million items that you can get shipped to New Zealand.
You know, I never thought I'd say these words out loud, but Philip Matthews was struggling with the same thing on Twitter when he retweeted a Donald Trump thing and said, I'm about to agree with Donald Trump. These people don't pay rent. You know, they don't employ anyone in New Zealand. You know, they're not occupying shop space in our CBDs. You know, I'm not, you know.
But they do have 45 million items available for sale. There you go. And it's quite popular. Online shopping is popular, and especially international sites.
I'm not being a Luddite about it. I'm just not.
Do you shop online?
No, not very often.
No.
I mean, you just look at the shops closing in our towns and cities, and you think someone has to support these people.
And yet, you know, I've spoken to, say, Kiwi Properties, for example, which owns Sylvia Park, and they say that a destination shopping centre, like the one they have, is really popular. And as you said, we talked about this the other day.
You're right.
You can't
Sylvia
even get
Park.
a parking spot there, and that's partly because they're destination shopping events. So people go to these places for an outing. I don't know. Shopping centres aren't the place I go for an outing, but that's where a lot of people do enjoy going out to a restaurant, doing a bit of shopping, hanging out with their friends, whatever it is. So there you go. I mean, so retail shopping is still a bricks and mortar experience in some cases, but almost every retailer we talk to has got some kind of online presence, and it's growing.
Good point.
So there you go.
Okay.
So we'll find out what happens with Amazon.
Thank you for dragging me into the 21st century.
I have no idea whether or not this is going to extend to their Australian site. It definitely does apply to the United States one. More information to come, no doubt.
Thank you, Nona. The IMF, the International Monetary Fund, says New Zealand's economy is in good shape but sees some threats. What's it saying?
It's always the trade story, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, trade is a big deal to New Zealand. We're a great exporting nation, and if there was a trade war, we'd get caught in the middle of it more likely than not, and that's always a risk to us. And that's one of the things that the IMF talked about. And, you know, the strength of the United States economy is also another big factor in how well we do.
So the IMF is talking about us being collateral damage in a trade war between the US and China, and collateral damage in a recession or something toppling in the US.
And that's always on the cards. We already know there's a lot of volatility. But, you know, just over the night, we've seen much more positivity in the market because corporate earnings in the US are quite strong. Seems to be a bit of a dial back on the trade issue. Asia is feeling a little bit more positive, and we've seen that in the markets. And it's reflected here. You know, our top 50 index, we did have a bit of a blip yesterday with the Fletcher Building share offer. That's been well taken up today. The institutional part of that, it was 98% subscribed, so that's $500 million so far. More to come overnight, and then the retail offer into next week. So our top 50 index rose 0.3%. That's 25 points to 8,369. That's quite healthy. And the dollar, very strong, really, because the U.S. dollar has been moving up. We're trading at 73.3 U.S. cents, 94.5 Australian, 51.3 pence.
Nona Peltier, thank you very much indeed.